time immediately after Mori Calliope's debut is, in my opinion, one of the most interesting parts of her story. Basically overnight, Callie's entire world was flipped upside down. She went from being a nobody to being a viral sensation, from being an edgy countercultural rapper to a corporate Japanese idol. But most importantly, she went from facing only the pressures from within herself to confronting and attempting to conform to the expectations of hundreds of thousands of people across the entire world. And these struggles are the main focus of the singles that Mori released between her debut EP, Deadbeats, and her second EP, Your Mori. More specifically, the songs Cursed Night, Off With Their Heads, Ibasho, and Spiral Tones depict how Callie has reacted and dealt with the many pressures put on her since joining Hololive.
Days are blending together, pretending like I don't notice.
On the 1st of November 2020, only about a month and a half after her debut, Mori Calliope released her first single, Cursed Night. Stylistically, the song is very similar to her previous work on Deadbeats, with Callie composing the track herself, with mixing from Kokoro beats and rapping with her signature style of fast daisy chain rhymes and emphasized consonants. The instrumental is okay. It doesn't really do anything new for Callie, but what sets the song apart from all of her previous is the melancholy tone and honest expression of her personal struggles relating to fame and success. In a way, the song almost feels like a backwards version of Live Again, with a slow, relaxed beat and singing in the chorus, only the lyrics are about wallowing in pessimism as opposed to chasing hope. In terms of what her song achieves, it continues on what the Deadbeats EP started by showing a deeper side of her personality and the extent that her lyricism and performance can go when writing with strong emotions. Callie took the poetry of Live Again and doubled down on it, incorporating far more metaphors and visual imagery when depicting her struggles than before. Presumably driven by the stifling, repressive environment as an idol, Callie let out all of her darkest feelings that she's experienced since joining Hololive on this song. She alludes to the stresses of overwork, the sudden shift in her lifestyle, missing her old life, her budding toxic relationship with her fanbase, the paranoia of fame, and even mentions suicide because of how smothered she is by these struggles. Now, consider for a moment that this song was one of the leading representations of the serious Japanese idol company for English-speaking viewers across the whole world. Yeah, Callie had some balls releasing this song. But I particularly want to focus on the chorus of the song, where Callie confronts the listeners directly.
Searching by city light, you'll never find me running through a cursed night. Do you have a death wish? Shut the lid tight, it's complicated. Could you not look inside? It's complicated. Somehow I'm just a page in, but I've cried and I've grown to shut away the conversations of my highs and lows. You've been a man to me, I know.
Callie calls out her new fans who are obsessed with finding out who she is and learning about her struggles before telling them exactly that. And then she reveals the quick, simplified answer that she gives about her tumultuous start at Hololive in order to change the topic and deter people from prying into her life. Furthermore, by juxtaposing telling us all of her personal issues with bluntly asking us to look away and not pry, Callie represents the conflicting and ever-changing feelings that she feels towards fame, privacy, and her success. And this sort of depth is present throughout the entire song and takes Callie's lyricism to just another level above Deadbeats. The final line in particular has a lot of implications which I could honestly make a whole video on, and maybe one day I will. Overall, Cursed Night is pretty good. Lyrically, it's surprisingly poetic and layered in a way that was hardly seen on Deadbeats. However, it's dragged down a bit by a kind of mid-instrumental, and honestly, Callie's naivety on the song ages pretty poorly from a post-end-of-a-life, post-Phantomine perspective. But otherwise, a great song. Also, fun fact, the cover art for Cursed Night is the only song cover art of Mori drawn by herself, and I think that's pretty cool.
Wanna see it? Fine, this time look for yourself. Deadbeats swinging out, grab the scythe and show them how. Welcome to the mountaintop, wait until the fight calls.
Succeeding Cursed Night, Off With Their Heads released on the 2nd of February 2021 as a hard rap diss track towards jealous indie VTubers who don't put in the effort to succeed and blame Callie for their failure. By this point, the introductions were well and truly out of the way, and Callie was a very successful and semi-established VTuber and musician. She even makes an allusion to getting 1 million subscribers on YouTube in the song itself. However, with success comes lots and lots of hate, and that's what the song's responding to. Callie wastes no time on introductions and immediately calls attention to the backbreaking work that she's put into her craft and why she earned her place in Hololive. And to contrast this, how many small creators stubbornly refuse to put in that same effort and are content with simply scapegoating corporates for their problems. But Callie doesn't just point out this unproductive behavior to mock and belittle them, but in order to show them tough love and encourage them to follow her shadow and succeed alongside her. To put it simply, deadbeat swinging out, grab the scythe and show them how. This messaging has surprisingly only gotten better with time. Not only has Callie's argument been proven through her continued success achieved by hard work, but her confidence in her own abilities in the song is really a breath of fresh air compared to the inescapable imposter syndrome that haunts her more recent work like Cinderella and Jugoku 6. Off of the Heads also expresses its themes in an incredibly tight and resourceful way. The instrumental, for example, is a creative blend of trap, dubstep, and traditional Japanese influences, showcasing Callie's creative influences from both Japanese and American music. The track was also produced and mixed by Ao, also known as Top Hat Kyo, who deeply inspired Callie to become a musician in the first place, and would be a frequent collaborator from then on. And this duality of hard rap styles and traditional Japanese influences is continued in the finely crafted lyrics, utilizing an extended metaphor of a mountaintop where her disciples train in the art of scythe swinging, representing any artistic medium, but in Callie's case music. This, as well as metaphors for gentle flames and blooming sakura trees, serve to contrast the aggressive and confrontational rap in the verses. Speaking of which, this is some of the best rapping that Callie's ever done in my opinion. Her flow is immaculate, constantly changing as soon as you get used to it, and with end rhymes that continue for as long as Callie can possibly stretch them, still without getting boring. She raps slowly, she raps quickly, she shows anger, confidence, tranquility, and boredom all in the same song. Her signature consonants and daisy chains make a return too, along with clever wordplay and the aforementioned metaphors and other figurative language. I could genuinely go line by line and point out all the clever things Callie does in this song, but I won't, to save time. Mori really pulled out all the stops for this song and makes it look easy too, which doesn't just create her best rap song yet, but simultaneously adds to its themes. And that's why I love this song so much. It sets out a clear goal for itself and then achieves it to the absolute fullest extent, while also being a banger. I mean, how can you not complain? And while celebrating the achievements Callie's made thus far, Off of Their Heads also looks forward to the future of both her own career and her followers. And that's all summed up perfectly in the final lines of verse 2.
Ask you, pick up the sword and swing into it. 'Tis unbearable and wear your scars with dignity. When raising something shareable, the strong, the safe, the terrible. Progress in these eyes, expect no less than or shaky when these deadbeats rise.
So what is next for Callie? I mean, she's fully proven now that she can rap, but I hope you haven't forgotten she is still a J-pop idol. And that's exactly what Callie's next single, Ibasho, sets out to remind everyone. On the 11th of March 2021, Callie released Ibasho as her first sponsored song with Crunchyroll's Princess Connect's Redive. Now, the sponsorship itself was a pretty huge deal. Not only was this proof that Mori Calliope was marketable and her music was good enough to sell an actual video game, but also that VTubers were taken seriously enough in America and other English-speaking countries. But the song itself? Admittedly, I don't really like this song. I don't think it's a bad song at all, it has some good elements, but a few big things cause it to be one of the only Mori Calliope songs which I personally dislike. Namely, Callie's vocals. The auto-tune on this song is really strong and clashes quite harshly with the fantasy-esque instrumental, to my ears at least. It's very clearly intentional, like Yoni on a Journey and Death Sentence, but I just think it sounds bad in this song in particular. And on top of this, Callie's lyrics could be improved. They're mostly in Japanese, so it is harder for me to critique them than the others, but I think that Callie's shift to more traditional J-pop singing made her take out some of the more conventional elements of rap lyrics, which I quite liked. Things like daisy chains, internal rhymes, and wordplay, which gave her lyrics so much flavour and catharsis in her previous songs, are missing here, and Callie's singing sounds kind of bland because of it. However, with all my whinging out of the way, I love what the song tries to attempt. While Callie could have easily made something half-assed and generic for this collaboration, she instead decided to make something uniquely hers and to push her boundaries at the same time. Callie's lyrics portray how her newfound fans that she's found since joining Hololive have changed her life for the better, and can also be interpreted as being about her relationship with music itself. While I still believe that the way these lyrics are delivered could use some work, the concept and meaning behind them is actually incredibly interesting, clever, and refreshing considering the fact that before this, the only songs that she'd made about fame were incredibly pessimistic and negative. And while I don't know anything about the game itself, and would honestly like to keep it that way, I am assuming that these lyrics relate to the themes within it as well, adding another layer of meaning to the song. Moreover, beneath all the auto-tune, you can tell that Callie is really trying to sing an anime opening-esque song, which expands upon the seedlings of singing that Callie displayed on Live Again in Cursed Night. And the instrumental by Elliot The instrumental by Elliot is incredible as always, and is honestly the highlight of the track for me. So I can clearly see that Ibasho was trying to do something great, and I commend it for that. But personally, I just don't really enjoy listening to it.
imagine. Take a look, it's a change of age.
And now, the final song that I'll be covering in this video is Mori, Calliope and Rika's Spiral Tones, released on the 10th of May 2021. While technically this did release about a month after Your Mori, I'm including it in this video because it still carries many of the same themes and styles as the pre-Your Mori songs, and I just think it fits better in that era. Now, what makes Spiral Tones significant is that it's the first ever song collab Callie ever did with someone, and on top of that, it's the first collab between Hololive and Holostars ever. Cause, well, I don't know if you noticed, but Rika is a male. And in the context of VTuber culture, often featuring traditional Japanese ideologies, this sort of collab is kind of radical. And while it's kind of funny now to think about two people not being allowed to collab because of their gender, there was a fair deal of backlash to this song, which Callie predicted and wrote into the actual lyrics. Fundamentally, this song is about the constraints that haters put on creators to stop them from making what they want to make. Whether it's the sexist traditionalist ideologies that stopped Hololive and Holostars from collabing, as mentioned in Callie's second verse, or simply the constant streams of criticisms, critiques, and expectations impressed onto artists by the public, like, random people. I can't think of any at the moment. But despite all of these pressures put onto Morika, they're still going to charge onwards and make what they're passionate about, like a spiral. I would say out of control, but they just keep spitting, still full of that soul. You know, what I like about the continued spiral allegory is that it doesn't just represent the continued creative drive as shown by the line I just read, but it's also a reference to the anime Gurren Lagann, which is one of Callie's favourites, in which spirals are used to represent freedom, defiance and determination. And as for the lyrics in general, they're all great. Callie's rap is about as good as it was in her previous songs, so I'm not really going to restate why it's good here. But even Rika's lyrics, from what I've been able to gather from translations online and the vibes, are also pretty good and contrast Callie really nicely. Callie's vocals are mostly rap, although she does do the low harmony in the chorus. Either way, Callie's always in the lower end of the spectrum while Rika sings his lyrics in higher pitches. This helps break up the song and make it less repetitious in a really nice way that Callie simply couldn't achieve on her own with her limited vocal range back then. Moreover, auto-tune is selectively used in the song for effect in a really nice way in my opinion, unlike in Ibasho. There are still moments in which Callie and Rika's voices are able to shine unfiltered, but in the other parts the auto-tune works together with the electronic synths, drums and 808s to create the futuristic poppy vibe that it's going for. Speaking of which, the instrumental for the song was composed by Callie and Rika themselves, and is leagues better than all of the ones Callie composed on her own in my opinion. The song is so layered, harmonious and unique in a way that makes me believe that this could only come about through the joint talents of Mori and Rika together. I mean, I don't exactly know Rika and his music very well, but from the few songs that I've heard, Spiral Tones is his best work. Coincidence? Maybe. I also like how the futuristic instrumental in the song works with the lyrics to convey its themes in the same way that Off With Their Heads did. All in all, Spiral Tones is an amazing song, in all areas. And while it's not her best song or anything, and pop isn't really my favourite genre, I personally can't think of any way it could be improved. In conclusion, Callie's early singles all depict her various struggles and emotional responses to the drastic changes in her life since joining Hololive extremely effectively, and in many different ways too. Cursed Night conveys the melancholic conflict within Callie as she struggles with fame and privacy with this intentionally moody instrumental. Off With Their Heads exhibits Callie's anger at the needless hate and jealousy she's faced as someone with success in its incredibly punchy, witty and aggressive lyrics. Ibasho showcases Callie's solace and comfort within both her loving fanbase as well as her musical creation with her determined singing. And finally, Spiral Tones represents Callie's unwillingness to conform to all the unreasonable expectations on the internet of who Callie should be, by collaborating with not just a like-minded musician and Rika, but someone who people told Callie she wasn't allowed to collab with. Now, if I had to rank all of the Mori songs so far, I'd probably order them from best to worst: Live Again, Off With Their Heads, Spiral Tones, Cursed Night, Reaper Karappa, R.I.P., Deadbeats, and Ibasho. So basically, these 4 singles succeed on nearly everything that Deadbeats sets up, while also offering more insights to Mori Calliope's life, personality, and the struggles that she's faced since being catapulted into stardom. And in my opinion, that's everything that an artist's early singles should be. They don't need to attempt some grand emotional story or anything, they just need to attempt to improve upon the artist's foundation and show what they're really capable of, all while being true to themselves. Thank you everyone for watching this far into the video, it really means a lot to me. My last video on Deadbeats did way better than I expected it to, so if you want to stick around for the rest of the series, that would be awesome. For my next video, I'll be delving into Your Mori, which I'm really excited for, so I hope I'll see you then.